Hello there, my name's Luke Bannister. We're fishing today on the Lid at Sydenham. We've just come over the bridge and parked up in front of the house and just going to get ready to go off fishing. Today I'll be fishing with a 7'4" weight, which is ideal for the size of river. You can probably go with a longer rod up to about 8 foot. 8'6" would be maybe a little bit tight underneath the trees. Line weight 3, 4, 5 weight will be absolutely fine. Don't really need anything too heavy. The flies that we'll be using, we'll start off on fishing fairly heavy nymphs to get down. There are grayling on the beat, which we might see later, and we need to get down fairly deep to see if we can get into them. Later on we'll go over to the dries if we see fish rising. We don't really need to be too specific in the flies that we use, just any general pattern, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. So we'll go and tackle up and go fishing. This is the bridge pool, which is the first pool above the bridge, and all we're going to do is just work a heavy nymph upstream through the faster water. There's a little bit of a channel on the left where the fish like to lie, but just remember to cover all the water, because the fish will move around depending on where the food is, and so you want to cover the whole pool. Oh, there we are, little brownie. With these little fish, just remember to wet your hands before you touch them, using barbless hooks, so we're not going to cause the fish any trouble at all, and then get them back in the water as soon as you can. So hopefully we'll get a couple more, and maybe a couple big ones. Quite often what happens is the fish will move around the pools throughout the day, so you might pick them up in the faster water early on, and then as the day goes on they might drop back, or it might go the other way around. They might be in the tails of the pool early on, and then as the hatch starts, they'll start to push forwards into the faster water. But if we move nice and steady upstream, we're not going to disturb any fish as we move up on them. Always take your time going through the pools, but there's plenty of water on the beach, so there's no need to flog it. So give the pools a good go and then walk up a bit further. We've fished up to the first Weir pool, and we're just going to drop in towards the back of it. Because the water's pretty clear, we don't want to go spooking the fish too much. So all along the beat you'll find these sort of stiles that just make it easier going over the fence. There's only barbed wire on the top 2 strands, so if you want to get in the river you can go squeeze your way through the wires underneath, which isn't too bad, but convenient, there's a stile here, so we'll just drop over the top and have a look into the back of the pool. Now, one of the big things is rod first or rod behind. Personally, I like to put my fishing rod in front of me, and we'll just go a bit steady through the bushes. There's a nice set of stepping stones that go across the river that break the channel up, and there's some very nice holding water at the top of it. We're still fishing the heavy nymph, and we're just going to work our way up into the pool. There we are. Oh, missed him. Little brownie. with the small browns on these rivers, if you bump one or two off, don't get too frustrated, because they do tend to slash at the fly, and as often as not they miss it, so it's not actually you losing them, it's them missing the fly or not taking the fly fully. Now, as we get nearer the head of the pool, the water gets deeper and deeper, so actually we can get closer and closer to the fly, because the fish feel like they've got more and more cover. So we've come back down to the bridge, and now we're going to walk down the beat and fish back up to the cars. So we'll walk down and have a look at how we get on. We've just come across the river above the wall pool, and now we're going to walk down the rest of the beat and carry on with the fishing. There's an awful lot of fishing on this beat. There's over 2.5 kilometres, and downstream there's probably there is 2 more fields below us, but the time's going on and there's a lot of fishing back to the car, so what we'll do now is drop in over and start fishing our way back up to the vehicles. But the sun's actually shining through the trees and falling onto the river, and that seems to be getting the insects moving a bit. Oh, that's a better fish. So there he is. Very nice little wild brownish from the Lynn. And where that fish was just on the edge of where the shallow water rolls over into a slightly deeper pool, and also where the fast current slows down into a slower part of the water, and quite often that is where the trout will lie. Just working our way into the Weir pool, which is on the bottom of Wall pool. We've got a heavy nymph back on, as we haven't really seen that many fish rising. We've seen 1 or 2, but I think in the pools we're more likely to see fish showing an interest in the nymph. There's some quite nice runs going down through the pool, so we can just spend a bit of time letting the nymph drift back down to us. Right, we're just down where the Chilaton Brook comes in. There's a nice little weir and a nice little pool where the brook comes in. The water's pretty shallow, but even though you can see the bottom, quite often you won't actually see the trout. So it's well worth putting the fly down through the run. I've gone over to a dry fly because I've seen 1 or 2 olives coming off the surface. We're using a CDC and elk, which is a very nice, just general purpose fly. They're nice and buoyant, and they work nicely as an all-round fly. You can, you'd say popular pattern, Adams, Klinkhammers, anything fairly nondescript will generally bring the flies up if they're interested. I'll just put the fly across the weir a few times and haven't really seen anything. And now we'll just check behind. We'll put the fly up into the corner where the brook comes in. There's a nice little corner pool and a nice spot for a fish to lay up. So we'll just put the fly in. Right, we're just in the run below the house, so we're just going to drop in the bottom of it and fish away back up to the house. It's always worth just letting it go right the way past, because if we move upstream nice and quiet, we won't necessarily spook the fish. We might move them a little bit, but as we go past, they'll come back onto the feed. So it's quite often that we'll actually pick trout and grayling up actually behind us. Another fish. Again, I think that we're getting more active now. Picking up on the nymphs. The little brownies we can, using barbless hooks, we can get them out before too long. And get them back in the water as soon as we can. Right, well, we've fished our way back up to the bridge where we started. We've had a nice day's fishing. Not the easiest days, but we've seen a few fish, one or two on the dry fly, but mainly we've been fishing down deep on the heavier nymph. We've had one nice trout up around sort of 8-9 inches, and hopefully you've enjoyed the day as much as I have, and hopefully you'll come along and have a fish of the bait.